have Mrs. International 2019, Robin Towle. Robin, thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely.
For real, it's a pleasure.
So excited.
Heck yeah. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your title and why you're here today, and a little bit about what you represent.
Awesome. Well, my title is Mrs. International 2019, and you know, it represents such a journey in my life of getting to the place you want to be, emotionally, spiritually. I look at the opportunity that I had to compete, and I really didn't expect to win, but I knew going into it that I was in the best place I had ever been emotionally, and it was thanks to my platform, suicide prevention. So that was my heart and a message that I wanted to spread and share about mental health and reducing the stigma of mental health and
Right.
helping other people feel like they could share their stories, and along the way of trying to help people, because I had a son who struggled. I found out that I had my own journey of mental health I needed to work on, and by the time I got to that pageant, I just was in the best place I had been, thanks to the work I had done.
Heck yeah. And what's some struggles that you've come across in your career related to that?
Well, you know, I think one thing that I didn't initially, and I don't know that I intentionally didn't share my own mental health struggles. I'm not sure that I even really understood the depth of my own issues that I had.
Right.
But initially, I didn't feel comfortable coming forward about my own issues because I wanted to feel like people wouldn't say, oh, well, she's, you know, a little off, or, you know, she
Yeah.
has these issues, who's she to tell? You know, I just felt like there was a stigma behind it for myself, and I didn't intentionally not, but as I started working it, I realized I had a lot of work to do myself. You know, I struggled with anxiety and periods of depression, and it took me a while to really be able to speak out about my own issues. So I guess that's probably the biggest struggle that I had along the way is, you know, struggle with my own self.
Yeah.
Which is usually everyone's biggest struggle, right?
Right.
Exactly, yes.
And follow up to that, what's some advice that you give to people that are trying to follow in your footsteps and might experience the same kind of situations that you've gone through? How did you lift yourself up in those kind of times?
Well, I think you know, I was forced into it. I had gotten to a point where my stress level was so high, my anxiety was so high, and then my son became depressed, and we had 8 suicides at our local high school.
Oh, wow.
And it just took me to a breaking point, but it was actually a breakthrough because some very unhealthy lifestyle things that I was doing just snapped. I really cared a lot about what people thought of me. I tried to fit in everyone's box, and you know, everybody's box is different. My husband had a box for me, my mom had a box for me, my friends, you know, everyone, my church, my children, and I couldn't fit in everyone's box, and I think I just sort of, you know, broke free and decided I don't want to live in a box anymore, and I don't want to try and fit in anybody else's box. I want to be who God created me to be. I want to be me.
Right.
Exactly, just like everybody else. So, did the pageant come first, or
No.
was the pageant a way to deal with the struggles?
It was a part of the healing process.
Okay.
It started with acting.
Mm-hmm.
I started acting, and that began my healing, and then I started writing and producing, and then that led to the pageant world. I really don't know how it happened, but it was all a very intentional healing process from a power beyond myself.
I got you.
And through that, could you tell people a little bit more about Wolf Pact?
Oh yeah, sure. So Wolf Pact, you know, when my son was struggling, there were things I wish I had had for him to help him, but he's, you know, you can't create a group for your kid. They'll be like, you know, at 17 years old, they're like, thanks, Mom, I don't need a play date, you know?
Yeah.
So I wanted to create something that moms felt empowered to help their children, but it turned out helping me. So it's something that can help anyone.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it just teaches positive life skills, mindfulness, gratitude, core values. Learning what is important to you is so important because that helps alleviate a lot of anxiety and stress, because if you can narrow down what your core values are, then your decision-making process is not so overwhelming. And when your life is not happy, you can look and say, okay, what I'm doing, is it falling in line with my core values, with what I find important? So those are just some of the aspects of it. It teaches also to be kind and inclusive. You know, I think our world is experiencing a lot of this right now, and this is something that we need, is just to realize almost everyone feels like they don't belong at some point, and we really don't know what people are going through, and I think we should always just err on the side of being kind.
Right.
So it's Wolf Pact, P-A-C-T, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So the kids will sign up, when they join, they sign a pact saying that if they are feeling like they would self-harm, that they would reach out to the 1-800 number or to the Safe UT app.
And what's the site to that so people can find out more?
Signwolfpact.org.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Nice. That's good. So with the Wolf Pact, it's basically keep it simple. Don't get overwhelmed. You know, you're working as a group. It's kind of like a self-help for young kids,
yes,
young children.
It is, but really, like, you could use it in college kids could use it, young kids could use it, teenagers can use it, adults can use it. And I think the thing is what I've learned is, as a parent, I created this for my child, but working on it has led me to a much healthier place where my child would have benefited had I done that work before. And so, yeah, it's really for anyone, and it includes like team building activities, ways that you can help people feel like they belong, that they have a place, and then you talk about, and it tries to change the mindset. It's called Wolf Pact because, have you ever heard the story of the two wolves?
Yes.
So the
Not
story.
yet.
Okay, well, you want me to tell you?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah. You'll like the story.
Okay, so Native American chief tells his grandson, I have a war going on inside of me. Two wolves are fighting. One is greed and envy, self-loathing, and the other is kindness, resilience, love. And the grandson says, Grandfather, which will win? And he says, the one that you feed.
Oh, wow.
So
that's smart.
If, you know, a lot of the program is based on not therapy, because I didn't want to send kids in and not have the backup therapy that they needed, but more on changing your mindset to a positive mindset and how to deal better when hard things come your way.
Right.
So we do most of the story. You share your stories. So the person facilitating will share their story, and then the youth will they'll invite the youth to share their stories. But it's more on a positive note, not to bring up a lot of really hard things, but more to realize, because I have teenagers. I have 6 children, and at this point I have 4 teenagers, or 4 that have been teenagers. And, you know, I just saw a lot of negativity in their mindset, which made them very unhappy. And I think sometimes negativity travels our neural pathways faster. It's more reinforced. And so when you think negative thoughts, it is reinforcing the brain more than a positive thought. So once you start down a negative pathway, it can be very debilitating.
Totally. Yeah, that's why I try and tell people is it's not always easy, but like try and find the positivity in suffering, you know, and just try and be as positive as possible, because it's like the more negative you are, that's only where you're going to get is what you think about. You know, it takes more muscles to frown than to smile. So
it's a vicious circle.
Yes.
Once you get into it, it's hard to break that cycle, and no matter what it is, if it's, you know.
And we all experience
Exactly,
it. I'm sure
yes.
everyone gets in that mode, but to learn how to recognize it and bring yourself out of it. I remember with my last child, I was in the hospital for 71 days in a different state. And it was one of the hardest things I have been through in multiple ways. It was a very hard time. And after I came out, I was sort of bitter and negative. And so what I would do is I started a gratitude journal about everything I was grateful for about that time. And, you know, it sort of helped me realize there was a lot of beautiful things that happened during that period of time along with the hard.
Right. Well, I'm a writer, so once you put it on paper, it becomes tangible, right? So it's like you're putting it out in the universe. I want this to be positive. I want this to be better. So, am I wrong?
Absolutely.
So that's
What
the way of bringing
you
it
put
back.
what you put out comes back
Back to you, correct.
For sure, yes. Yes, and you put out positive energy and you're going to get positive energy back.
For real.
So when did you establish Wolf Pact? How long has it been now?
I think 4 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So that was before Mrs. International.
Yes, it was.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah.
So what are you working on currently now? We were talking a little bit earlier that you have some other projects that you're currently working on. Could you tell us a little bit about some of those?
Well, I actually have finished most of my projects, but the one I think we were talking about is a movie that I wrote and produced called Room Enough. And that was a suicide prevention movie. It was basically my story with multiple kids, not just the one kid that was struggling, but just, you know, how hard high school was for them. And as a mother, the pain that I experienced watching them go through those hard growing things. That's what that movie is about. But I do have projects coming up. I have a couple of movies that I want to write and produce.
Wow, it sounds like you're doing so much. Do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Oh, absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, my dad was an entrepreneur. My grandpa was an entrepreneur, so.
That's what's up, yeah, because I love talking to other entrepreneurs and seeing how they, you know, work for someone else for a while and then get to do their own thing. Can you tell people a little bit about, like, that experience, what it's like, and what advice you give to anyone that's trying to specifically be an entrepreneur?
Well, I majored in economics, so I think being an entrepreneur, you got to know where your money is. You know, if you want to be successful, you got to know what's going out and what's coming in. And so that's huge, right?
Right.
Knowing where you're at, you can't just go and, you know, it won't survive. And I think, you know, that probably my husband has his own business, and probably that's the biggest thing that I am impressed with him is he knows how much a job costs, how much, it's going to take, and that it keeps him thriving. So I think that's probably one of the things that I would suggest most is just really, know your budget and stick within it, and, but dream big and put it out there, and don't be afraid to try.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that advice. I greatly appreciate it.
So it sounds like you're a humanitarian first who just happens to be an entrepreneur second, which is even better, because I think the world needs more people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, my husband says I'm very good at doing things that don't make money. So money's not my thing.
I'm laughing with you.
I feel
money's
the same.
I'm an artist.
I'm an artist too. So
we talk the same language.
Yeah. What is it? Right brain? Are we right brain?
Yes.
Yeah, we're
We're
right.
the only ones in our right mind, but we can't make money.
Well, that's not what's most important.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know.
So do you have any personal messages you want to put out there as far as, to anybody looking up to you? Because, Mrs. International, I mean, there's probably some girls out there that are thinking, I want to be like her. I want to do things that she's doing. Any advice for them, or anybody in particular? Anybody, having suicidal thoughts? Or
Well, one thing that hit me recently is stand for something, but stand kind. I mean,
Right.
There's so much anger in the world, and
especially right now.
And like you said, the energy you put out is what you're going to get back. So you stand for what you believe in, but always stand kind.
Exactly.
It's important. We can disagree. We can have different opinions. That's what makes the world go around, right?
Right.
If we were all the same, it would be
boring.
really boring and sort of weird, right?
Yeah.
So we all have different opinions, and feel free to stand for what you believe in, but stand kind. Be nice. Be respectful to people. Respect other people's points of view. Try to learn from them, but be kind during it. And let's see. I have a motto. If I can, I don't have it memorized really good, but let's see. Oh shoot, love.
We could edit.
We're gonna have
It's
to
good.
edit
We
this
could
because I
edit,
can't
it's fine.
remember it. Lee, it's
It'll come later.
Love Without.
We got people that can do that. Like Lee behind the camera right here.
I have to pull it up because I really love it. Here.
It's
Do you mind if I grab it?
No, it's
No,
just,
take your
we'll
time.
pause it right there. It's good. Oops, can you get through? Okay.
It's my own thing too. That's the sad part.
Then we really are right-brained, because I forget everything.
I do too. I had 6 kids. They suck your brain cells.
I have a lot too, so.
Do you?
Do you call them like, do you say every name besides the kid
Tanner,
first?
Tyler, Tucker,
Yep.
Tegan. Yes.
To get to the name that you want to yell at? Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull it up. I might not. Love Without Condition.
If I forget anything, no, it's Kaylee's fault.
Without Judgment. Don't blame me. Just do what I'm told.
You have to tell a prompter I blame you if you forget.
Thank you for pausing. I'm
No, we're
sorry.
fine. Lee, you can put your magic on this.
Yeah,
We're good.
Oh, yeah. You okay, Chris?
Heck yeah. You mean the other Chris?
Yeah, Chris going?
I'm gonna drink some water. in the
Still awake back there?
It's not
No,
coming
I'm
up.
That's
not.
fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Are you,
Do you have a
you still
Wi-Fi?
okay?
Oh, it's because I have it on airplane.
Just before they start again?
Mm.
Oh. Well,
So let's go back to
Did we cover the questions so far?
personal message. Oh, I can see from our set and personal importance of not neglecting yourself as a parent. Let's start there.
Okay. You want to ask that after she goes over the quote?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna cheat.
We're good. Cheat away.
Love Without Condition. Let's see if I can get it. Oh, sorry, I'm bumping the table.
Let's just start with you saying the.
Okay.
Am I good? Am I not in the light?
Yeah.
Okay. Can Chris still get me okay? All right. We'll just start with you just saying your quote right
Okay.
away.
Okay. Put it there just in case. Okay, so my quote that I need a little help remembering is love without condition, embrace without exclusion, be an example without judgment, and serve without losing yourself.
Nice.
That's pretty deep. I like it.
That's my theme. So that sort of speaks for me. Thank you for letting me share that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for sharing it with us. I think everybody needs to hear that,
Oh yeah.
especially this day and age with all the political divide and everything going on in the social media world. I think we all just need to step back, take a deep breath, and just relax.
And don't forget what's really important.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's strange to lose friends over political. You know, everybody's so hardcore. I think everybody just needs to come together and talk a little more and turn off their news a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So, but another question that you wanted to bring up is, how do you parent without neglecting yourself? What's the key to that?
Well, I think that was one of the things that sort of happened is I did neglect myself.
Right.
A lot. I homeschooled my kids, so they were home all the time, and I really neglected myself. And they were worth it, you know.
Absolutely.
And they, you know, I think that they're great people, and
Mhm.
I'm very blessed to be their mom. But I think it is super important for us to recognize we need self-care. And, you know, that sometimes includes just being alone for a while,
Right.
being in quiet, you know, taking time for doctor's appointments
Right.
that you know, checkups that you need to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And I think I did neglect that for a long time, and I think it was part of the issue for me. But that's one of the things that I've really tried to share with other women is to not lose yourself.
Right. It's how do you love other people if you don't love yourself? Kind of, you know,
Right.
mentality.
Well, and when your cup is empty, you have nothing to give.
Exactly.
And you know, you can totally deplete it without taking time to refill it. And you know, a lot of times I've had to stop and say, okay, my kids really need us to be home, but they need parents who love each other and are married still. also, so I really probably need a date night. I mean, that was like really one of the conversations I had in my own head, like in the last couple of weeks, is that, you know, I felt bad leaving the kids at home. We have teenagers, and, you know, we're gone a lot, and I felt bad one night leaving them, and I thought, no, you know, they need their parents to be happy and to get along, and we need time to be together.
Children pick up on that. You know, I mean, if you're staying together just for the kids, you know, they know that.
Yeah.
And so you need that balance. I'm totally with you. I agree 100%.
Heck yeah. So, we were talking a little bit earlier about your travels, and I was wondering what's like one of the coolest places you've been to. You're talking a little bit about Japan. Was that one of your favorite places, or is there some place that you enjoyed more, and why did you enjoy it, and what did you like about it? Was it the food, or the fashion, or the people, or?
You know, it's been an amazing year. I've been to 8 countries.
Wow.
And Japan, when I went to Japan and Vietnam, and those were 2 of my most favorite trips. I really liked Vietnam, and I liked Africa because the community, the sense of community there, and I think it had to do with less income, and that they relied on each other, and that they were more intermingled with each other's daily lives, and it was just so interesting to be a part of that. And, you know, in our culture, I feel like, you know, like when I was young, people cruised. You were probably too young. But,
I remember it well.
but people cruised, and you would stop, and you had a place you ate after every ball game, and everybody went there, and, you know, there were a lot of gatherings where, and I hope as Americans that we don't lose that, because as I went to Ghana and Vietnam and saw the people eating together in the streets, and,
Right.
you know, they were so happy, and, you know, they didn't have as much as we do, but they were very, very happy people, and that was interesting. While we were there, we opened a bridge in Vietnam for a community that didn't have any roads. So the kids had to either swim to school or take a boat to school. And so I joined up with a community group that it was their 12th bridge that they had built, so the kids didn't have to cross the river to get to school. But their travel was boat. It was not cars. So that was really interesting.
Cool. That's so beautiful that you're able to be a part of something like that.
It was really cool. And, you know, they had like a floating market where you went and bought your stuff off of boats. Like, you took boats out and bought things off of the boats to eat. And
oh, wow.
I know a lot of Cambodians and Laotians and Vietnamese people, and their whole culture is, you know, like, I've gone to the temples, and what I like about them is, like, their lives are full, even though they didn't have a lot, you know, and plus wars, they went through a lot. So to meet those kind of people, it's so simple, but it's complex. It's like they have everything that I think America needs a little more of. But I'm with you, yeah.
Well, I think we get focused on worry. And I think fear is bred into us. Fear we're not going to survive. Fear our kids are not going to survive. Fear we're not going to have enough. And there's enough abundance for everyone. And I think that's just one message, too, that I would like to share, is if you go in your life as fear of scarcity and fear of not having enough, you're never going to achieve the happiness that you want to achieve. There's enough for everyone in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and another thing I think is beautiful, if you follow your heart and you're not scared, you never know what could happen. It could could be 10 times better than you even imagine. You just don't know until you try.
Yeah. Well, I remember one time we went through like some really hard financial things, and all I kept thinking is, I'd be happy with my family in a box, so in a pasteboard box. Like, you know, like, we would be okay somehow if we lived in a tent. Yeah, I mean, they're what makes me happy, not what we have, you know, not the things we have. And I think we all, especially with, and this goes along with suicide prevention, but with social media and devices, we are becoming less engaged.
Right.
And more withdrawn to our devices.
Right.
And, you know, I hope that, I think we're going to have a learning curve as a generation, because no generation's ever experienced this before. And so our learning curve is going to have to be knowing to set it down, knowing to connect, knowing to enjoy life and enjoy each other,
Right.
and not like put everything into that.
Yeah, social media, you're not connecting, you're just reacting, and it's so insular, Before, we used to go to the record store and buy the same album because everybody loved it. We played it, we heard it on the radio. And now everything's so shrunk down, everybody's plugged into their phones, they don't interact.
Right.
And speaking of cruising, American Falls, Idaho, start cruising. Put your phones down and start cruising. Small town of 3,600 where I went to high school. Start cruising again.
Mount Olive, North Carolina too. You go back to cruising.
I was gonna ask you where
well,
it was.
honestly, do you want to hear something really cool?
Yes.
So my movie's sort of based on all of this talk.
Perfect.
The one that I'm gonna write.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of small town Idaho in me that's coming out in my books. So
Really?
I'm right there with you. Yes.
Awesome. Well, maybe you want to write with me.
You know what? We should. Yes, absolutely. I'm always down for new stories.
Same mindset.
Yeah, let's do it. Done.
Awesome. Yeah,
You
I'm
saw it
gonna
here
have a new
first.
adventure. I give my crown up July.
So there's my next
25th?
question. Oh yeah. So July 25th, you got to give it a crown.
Yes,
And even with the COVID, they're not gonna let you hang on to it.
I tried, but they're.
Oh, see how they are.
Time,
I want
to move
her
on.
to go for like a three-peat, just like Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
With that, what's some
We
of
have
the
to write a movie though.
Absolutely, you got it. I'm down.
with the COVID, what kind of reactions and different things have happened that haven't happened normally with all this that you've seen from this?
Well, it's for me personally, it's been a bit sad because I lost half of my reign because everything I do is public appearances and everything was canceled.
Right.
So I just switched my mindset to service,
Mhm.
and I did a T-shirt project where I made T-shirts and sold them to girls who compete in pageants or anyone really. It said Quarantine Queens. And it had like a little queen on a little crown on the cube, but every girl who bought a T-shirt, I printed a T-shirt, had a T-shirt printed for a nurse, and theirs had
Oh,
little
wow.
nurses caps on them. So I had 100 shirts that we were able to give to nurses and send a bunch to New York City to where they're really struggling. And so I did that and helped raise money for some single moms and took food to the hospital and just things like that. So.
That's good. So you made the most of it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounded like you got robbed. That's not fair.
But at least you made the most of it and didn't just
Exactly.
be depressed and not do anything. You came out of it and did something with it. So
Yeah, and it probably was as meaningful or more meaningful than, doing a fashion show.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, the first thing that got canceled was my Americana fashion show. I had a nice American flag dress to wear, and
Oh.
yeah, it would have been cool, but next year.
yeah.
And I'll always be Mrs. International
Yeah, that's right.
2019.
Yeah, so you're still gonna have more
Yeah.
opportunity going down the road. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I get to wear my crown anymore, but I will when I clean the house.
I'd keep it. I'd just keep it.
Oh, I do get to keep it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'm supposed to wear it after my year, but I will wear it cleaning the house for sure.
I would too.
Remind
I would too.
everybody who the queen is.
So you answered part of the next question. Is so what's next for you? Obviously, you're gonna do the movies. You're gonna do the film.
Yeah.
And anything else on the horizon?
Yeah, well, I'd like to start a vidcast myself. I'd like to write this movie. I actually have 2 movies that I want to work on, and just keep working on my acting skills. I didn't start acting. I've been acting like 3 years, and 2 of those I've had a title. So
Yeah.
I need to brush up on my courses and things like that. So I'm excited to get back into my classes and studying acting.
So what have you acted in? Was it everything you developed?
No, well, I had a lead role in Lost at Desert, which won multiple awards. I think, I wish I could name them off, but it won a lot of awards. So I played, interesting enough, a woman who was hitting middle age and losing her beauty, trying to hold on to it.
You don't have to worry about that.
So
You're miscast.
Thank you. That makes me feel better. But it was great, and I wasn't very nice in it. And so when we watched, like the character wasn't, and I watched it with a guy that I had never met before, and he looks at me, and he goes, you're way nicer than I expected you to be. So I guess I did a decent job.
There you go. That's called acting.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, you're so determined. I was wondering what's some people that you looked up to when you were a child and some people that inspire you nowadays.
Well, of course, it's very cliche, but my mom. You know, your mom is the person who's the one person in your life, and I hope when my kids look back and say, who did they look up to when they were little, that they'll say me. You know, I hope I was that good of an influence for them, and for me, my mom was, and everything that I thought she did wrong after raising kids, I'm like, oh, she actually did a pretty good job. Oh, she knew more than I thought she did.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah. They get so wise as you get older. Wait, on that note, we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back.
Okay, good job.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
So, sorry, I had to cut it off real fast. So, and then we'll get the B-roll. We get everything in the middle there. So, you want something to drink?
Oh, yes.
Make some. Oh, there's your water.
Sorry, I had to stop in the middle. but
No, we're good. He had
I
it
gotta
timed out, so we're
I
good.
gotta memorize my own quote.
Just take time. After you've said it 1,000 times, you'll know it.
That's why I need to start doing.
Muscle memory.
Well, you just got.
I just
halfway.
finished making a bunch of, potato chip.
Are we rich? Did you make us
No,
rich?
no, grad students.
Oh.
They're all in a negotiations MBA program. And they were talking, our deal with the Las Vegas Raiders, they did a case study on, and they offered some good suggestions. So, how are you guys doing? Did you miss me?
Awesome.
We just took a break, yeah. We forgot you were here until you walked in. No.
God, you asshole.
So, restroom, you guys want to take a break real quick, and then we can talk about what we want to cover in the next part?
Okay.
Sure.
Hey, I just want to say, you guys look great.
Thank you.
No, I was talking.
No, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I always do that to you. Whenever I have someone.
Well, he makes me look
It's
good.
not.
of
It's
course.
not me making nobody look good. But here's one thing to share though. But my ex is Cambodian, so the kids bought me a Buddha.
Oh,
So that's my jade Buddha that I have.
I love that.
So you stick around?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
getting into like stones now.
Oh yeah, crystals. And,
Yeah. Because of energy.
Uh-huh.
You know, like I really want to have the best energy and vibration possible.
Right.
You
My
know?
other ex had a
A
health
what?
and wellness, and she had a huge amethyst this big
Oh,
sitting in
wow.
her
That
on her,
gimbal?
Charger.
right
Oh,
behind her
charger,
in the
yeah.
kitchen, yeah.
I can go
That's
get it.
cool.
Yeah, she's on.
You
have an
Used to do
iPhone?
hot yoga.
I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Just plug
I'll
that
be
in
right
there if
back.
you need someone else.
I'm gonna get a charger.
Okay.
Just kidding. It's
Oh,
good.
you can take mine, the one I was using. If
Yeah, there's a
You need an
couple
iPhone charger? I've got one right there.
So,
Thank you.
what do we need to cover now? So,
There's a story that I love
Mhm.
that I was gonna share, but I couldn't fit it in.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Yeah.
Do that when we come back. Yeah,
It's called When the Queen Rides.
that'd be good.
Okay. And then we want to do. Well, we went half an hour. Should we do another half hour? Or
Yeah,
should
do
we-
another half hour.
Okay.
Or how much time do we have?
Well, it's up to you guys.
Well,
I'm
do
gonna-
another 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
why don't you do
45
15,
is a
yeah.
good time, because
Okay.
if we cut this for
Right.
What's that,
television,
recording?
45 is,
Dead on. Okay. Cool.
yeah. So 15 work for you?
Yeah, 15 would be good, yeah, 'cause
Okay.
I'm afraid my battery might go die.
Should we
Um,
cover the? Should we cover the? Should we show the sash and everything, or whatever you want to cover? It's your show. So
Whatever
Why
want.
don't you put the sash on? That'd be good.
who me?
No, not, I was actually thinking
Chris,
Robin.
it'll probably look good. Chris is purple. No.
So Keisha, their business partner, wants lots of. Have you taken lots of pictures?
Yes.
Okay, good.
What's that?
Keisha wants. Oh,
Say that again, Gil.
So have you covered anything that?
That you wanted to get out?
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I think it's great.
Well, this is all about you, so we want to make sure that we're getting out what you want to get out.
it's normally about Chris, because you know how he is.
He's a diva.
No.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
I mean-
right? He is our diva. Trust me.
I just want his skin.
Oh, if you go next door, they do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a taxidermy shop that works on people.
You can mount Chris.
Yeah.
is there a taxidermy shop?
No, no, no.
he's joking. Actually, it's more studios. But I was gonna tell you, like, yeah, I want to do a video podcast. Like, we know people.
Yeah.
We know a guy.
Yeah. Well,
We know a few guys.
so we all came. Chris and I came from the TV business, and Lee is actually retired a CPA, and so we've all come at it from different avenues. So.
How was my advice on entrepreneurship?
I think you were doing great,
Thanks.
absolutely.
From a CPA. That's what my oldest son, graduated.
Yeah.
He didn't get a CPA license, but
Where'd you go to school?
he went to BYU Hawaii.
Right.
But he's doing the accounting for my husband's business, and my husband says he couldn't. My son wants to go open his own business on the East Coast. And my husband's like keeps upping his salary, so he won't.
What's your
He
husband
doesn't-
do?
Smart man.
He builds. Well, he has commercial landscape company here in Utah, but in California he builds water features. So like large lakes, ponds, fountains,
wow.
things like that.
Oh, fantastic.
So we lived there for 12 years and then moved here, and he commuted for 12 years. So
Now, where did you live in
hence
California?
the breakdown.
Where'd you live in California?
We lived in Loomis.
Lewis?
Do you know where that is?
Mm,
Do you know where Granite Bay, Folsom?
Folsom,
Sacramento?
Yeah. It's a little further up in the
No,
Central
okay.
Valley.
Sacktown, yeah.
Yeah,
Goes
cool.
north of Sacramento.
I commuted between Vegas and here every week
Yeah.
for 2 years, and
12 years.
12 years. I don't know how.
I had 6 kids during that time.
Wow.
It was a nightmare.
6 kids. Can you adopt 6 at once, or did you have them?
I had every one of them, one at a time too.
After the first one, didn't you suggest that maybe this ship has sailed?
Well, I love babies. There's just something about them. I don't care if it's a baby bird, a baby dog. If it's a baby, I love it.
6 of them.
Yeah. My brother just had triplets. His wife had
Oh,
triplets.
wow.
3 at one time.
Okay, well, get going. I'm
No
sorry
in
for yakking.
vitro. Like just natural.
Oh,
You didn't even see it coming.
my grandmother had 2 sets of twins.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So let's cover back. Yeah, you want to talk about where you grew up? So you can talk about where you grew up, or
Oh, sure.
how you got
I'd
to
love
Utah.
that. Yeah.
You want to do that?
And
Yeah, for
tell your queen story.
Oh, do you want me to tell the Queen story first?
Oh, it's up to you whenever you do it, but just make sure you get it told.
Okay, thank you.
You ready?
We're rolling.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Legacy Talk. Once again, I'm Lawrence White. Here with my partner in crime, Chris Newhart.
Heck
And
yeah.
we still have the wonderful Robin Towle with us. And you have a queen story you want to tell us.
Oh, yeah. Well, with what's going on in the world,
Mhm.
you know, I think we all are working on our mindset, right? We need to work on our mindset so we can be happy, because it's a little trying times, right?
Right.
So one of my favorite stories is called When the Queen Rides. And it is about how a queen of a village, whenever they were going to war or had famine or anything that was, you know, going on that was strong, a plague, she would put on her best clothing, her finest jewels. She would get her horse and carriage lined up, and she would ride through the town and wave to the people and smile. And she would do that, and the people would feel like everything's okay. We're good. Everything's okay, you know. And so I just, you know, as my reign as Mrs. International and being in this odd situation where I, you know, don't have a lot of appearances and things to go out, that has been my mindset, and the story that has helped me stay positive is to know the energy that we put out is received by people and blesses other people. And so, you know, you do have to face your demons and you have to face the hard things, but as we talked about, the negativity is a vicious cycle, and you know, sometimes we just have to put on our jewels and put on our crown and show them who's the queen, right?
Right.
That's great advice. But there's never enough kindness, even if it's a little bit to a lot. As long as you're putting it out there, you know, it's going to circulate back to you. So I think we covered that before, but
Yeah,
let's say it again. Yeah. So sitting here talking with you, obviously we haven't covered your background, like where you grew up, how'd you end up in Utah.
well, you can obviously hear it, right?
That's how I finally caught on.
So I grew up in a small town in North Carolina called Mount Olive, and I went to college at East Carolina University, and I just remember a guy that I knew from college. He said, "You Mount Olive girls are so fickle." Yeah, and I described it to my husband. I said, you know, we all grew up in this small town, but our parents all treated us, all the girls, like they were the queen, you know, like the princess of the house. And so it was really interesting to grow up there, because I had a lot of good girlfriends who you know, had high aspirations and have done great things with their lives, and I loved it. I loved the small town, and You know, every country song reminds me of someone I know. Like, I'm like, I know that person.
Absolutely. I'm the same way.
I know that person. And, you know, runs deep. That your heritage runs deep. My boys, they all drive Ford pickup trucks.
Nice.
I'm laughing with you because I'm from Potato Land, Idaho, so that's all I knew. So, you know, when I finally moved to a big city, or, you know, would go to a big city, I'm like, wow, buildings, lots of people.
Yeah, I do. I always say I'm like Dory, shiny things.
Yeah, exactly it, yeah.
Yeah, so what part of Idaho did you grow up in?
Pocatello. I was born in Pocatello, and then 20 miles away is it's Potato Land, American Falls, Idaho, High American Falls. So I'm still friends with a lot of people there. So,
That's
but
awesome.
I'm very much a hick.
I have a son that goes to school there.
Pocatello?
He goes to BYU Idaho.
Oh yeah, Rexburg.
Yeah, Rexburg.
I know exactly where it is. Yep. All too well.
He has the most redneck truck of all of them.
I don't know. I know some rednecks. We'll have to compare. I'm sure some of my friends that I still know that I went to high school with they'll probably
Give
be
him a run
close.
for his money.
Absolutely. Yes. So, anything else we need to cover?
I don't know. You got any more questions for me?
I was wondering, from being a small town, did you always have big city dreams and plans to travel and do all this? Or if you went back and told yourself, you know, that you would have done some of these things, would you not believed it? Or did you just fall into it? Or
Well, when I was in the 3rd grade, I would pretend like I was a queen while the teacher was teaching the lesson. So I guess I knew I was going to leave or do something, you know.
Yeah.
Like I drew dresses all the time. So maybe, you know, maybe fashion designers in my future. I don't know. But it's fun to be my age, you know, and give so much to my family. And that's another message that I've really wanted to get to share is, you know, so many women give so much to their family. And then their kids grow up and they don't love you like they did when they were 4.
Right.
They don't need you. And they still love you, but it's not the same. And then the mom is lost. But I feel so blessed to have found that my life's not over, you know? Like,
Oh no.
like I can still achieve all my dreams, you know? And so I'm excited to see where I'm going from here and, you know, the things that I loved and like, you know, when I was a child, the things that, like drawing dresses or pretending I was a queen, that at my age I can still achieve my dreams. And so, you know, if you are an older woman, don't give up on your dreams. You know, if you've raised your family, go after what you want. Have some fun. I mean, you have sacrificed for everyone else.
Right.
You've given for everyone else. Now do something for yourself and enjoy it, because I've had a really fun year this year.
Good. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of people I talk to seem to say that a lot, that like a lot of people didn't make it like Mark Zuckerberg made it when he was kind of young, but a lot of people really don't make it until their 30s and 40s, and people spend so much of their 20s and 30s building their empire and their careers and everything that it seems like you just really start living your life when you get into your 40s or 50s and enjoy everything that you've accomplished. So
Right.
I'm glad that you're able to enjoy it.
Yeah, it is nice, and I'm glad, you know, for a long time I would think, you know, I know I'm supposed to be doing more, you know,
Right.
and I'm glad that somehow I got over the fear of trying and just going for it. Just
Yep.
go for it. Go
Nobody's
for
gonna
what
stop
you
you
want.
but you, right?
Yeah,
I
but
mean, nobody's gonna do it for you.
And you know, you can fail. It's okay to fail.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, it's
It's
okay.
the only way to learn.
Yeah, it's
It's
how
just as
you
long
learn.
as you don't quit.
Yeah, don't quit. Yeah. Well, and failing's not really failing, because you learned along the way and you grew
Exactly.
and you had an experience, and whether the experience came out to be exactly what you wanted, it might not have, but it taught you stuff along the way. It strengthened you, and it can be fun if you learn to enjoy the ride. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We always say this on the show a lot. We say people are going to tell you no, but don't quit. Just be stubborn about it. If it's really what you want to do and it's really what your drive is, and that's going to make you happy, then follow it. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. You know, as long as you believe in yourself, you can get there. And you know, I'm not 20 anymore, and it took me a long time to get where I'm at. But that's what I tell people: just keep going, and you know, surround yourself by positive people. Get the negative people out of the way. And even, I hate to say it, even if it's family, don't succumb to that. Keep building, because eventually, it's like you said, 1,000 no's and you only get that one yes, and
Yeah.
that's all you need.
Yeah.
So, and I'm so excited with you talking about making dresses. Keisha, you two need to talk more. Our business partner.
Yeah.
I see great things. With you.
Awesome.
Two women with two crowns. Straighten them up. I see it already, right? You see it?
Two kingdoms coming together.
Yeah, that's right. Two queens. Yeah, we have two queens that need to talk more. So I
Perfect.
can see it already. So that's
Well,
amazing.
I got a feeling I'll be hanging out with you guys more often.
Good, yeah. Well, you said you want to do a video cast. We know some
Yes.
people. I don't know where they're located, but we do know some people.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's great. So we have the Wolf Pact going on, and you still got 6 months of your reign yet left, right?
No,
No.
July.
Oh, July. That's right.
Yeah, July 25th.
Okay.
So I'm coming to an end. I'm going out with a bang, though.
And all movies and creating, and we're gonna write. We're gonna
Yeah,
come up with some stories.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be
One thing that I do want to say though is, you know, I have so many people ask me, what are you doing after this? What's your next big thing? What's your next big thing? Part of what I want my message to be though is that there doesn't have to be a next big thing. It doesn't
Oh,
have to
absolutely.
be that. I'm enough, you're enough, and you're enough just like you are. If you want to do something, do it. Don't let fear hold you back. But what you accomplish does not give you your worth. Your worth, you came here with the worth, with your worth. You were born with the worth that you have. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to do anything but be kind.
Yeah.
You know? And so I don't want people to think, oh, I didn't achieve this and so I'm not enough. Or, you know, she's achieved this and look at me. Because I've been there before.
all right.
You know? But I think it wasn't until I realized, hey, I'm a good person. I'm enough. You don't like me, so what? I'm enough.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know? And that's when, that was liberating. Like, that was the thing that took me to the next level. Was when I was like, I don't have to prove myself. I don't have to be what you think I need to be. I'm a good person. And I'm enough just like I am. And that, you know, I want people to know that as well. Go for your dreams, but you're enough. You don't have anything to prove. Your accomplishments don't dictate your worth.
Just be more kind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what project or anything like that. I like that. You know, keep for real. as
For
Chris
real.
says. You're gonna learn to say that a lot from him. But yeah, that's perfect. So just stay true to yourself, right? It doesn't matter what comes along after that. I love it. I love it.
And with that, before we get going, could you let people know your links, your website, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, where people can follow you and
Sure.
and keep update on all the beautiful things that you're doing?
Absolutely. So I have 20,000. So we have signwolfpact.org. We have robintowle.com. I have, my Facebook is Mrs. International 2019. And
That's your Instagram.
that's my Instagram as well, and my Facebook.
Okay.
And my personal Facebook is Robin Wiggins Towle. And so, yeah, follow me and look at this journey we're going to go on because it's going to be fun. I don't know where we're going, but it's going to be fun.
Heck yeah.
And we'll put all those links in this video podcast at the end too. So if you missed it, we'll make sure that everybody gets it too. And I got a feeling a lot of people is going to be blowing up your whole social media here after this one.
Awesome.
So.
And then Room Enough. If you want to go to YouTube and watch my Room Enough movie.
Okay,
I
great.
know I do.
Yeah. So is that a full-length movie?
No, it's a short
Short?
film. It started out as full length, but budget.
Budget. That's all you got to say. Yeah.
Budget and some bad filming we had to cut out. But I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's how you do it. Yeah. Not everything's going to be a blockbuster out of the gate. I know a lot of filmmakers. It's like, we got a budget, let's just go for it.
And there was a lot of passion in it, though, so I hope that, you know, when you watch it, you can see the passion that was in it. In the last scene is pretty dramatic, and I played the mom in that scene, and so I had to cry or be emotional, and I had a very special song that reminded me of my son when he was going through it. It's by Liz Longley, and it's, I think it's Longley, and it's When You've Got Trouble. And it says, when you have trouble, I've got trouble too.
Oh,
And
cool.
so I would, to prepare for that, I would go over and I would think about my boy and think about how worried I was about him, and I would sing that song, and I would just be bawling. So hopefully, you know, people are touched by it and feel some comfort in knowing that, you know, if they've been through similar things as a parent or a child, they're not alone. I know that when we cast it, everyone who read for it said, that's my whole high school experience. So I don't think, you know, I think we are all very similar, even though we feel very alone at times.
Right.
Well, I like you're attracted to the projects about you're passionate about, what you love, and what you want to see in this world. So that's cool. So we'll definitely have that up there too, and people can check that out too. So that'd be great.
Thank you.
Robin, it's been awesome. It's so good having you here,
Thanks
hanging
for
out with
having me.
us.
It's been a pleasure.
You guys are the best. This has been fun.
Hey,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I love it.
Okay, great.
I'll come back.
Heck yeah, we'd love
Absolutely,
to have you
yes,
back.
yes. Anytime you want, you're more than welcome.